Hello. All right, we're going to start out sitting today. I'm just grabbing this prop as an option. I want you to sit so that you are comfortable. For many people, that means with their hips a little bit higher than their legs. Beyond that, it's up to you. You can sit with your legs crossed, knees bent, or legs out straight. I'd like you to take a little time to figure that out while I babble. Let's establish how to know if you're in a good sitting position for now and for always. You want to align your body in the most gravity-friendly position. So we've got the least strain on your body, and so that your body can sense its relationship to gravity in order to recruit all the muscles to fight gravity together. So we want to begin sensing the sit bones as the base of the pelvis. And if your sit bones are what you're balancing on, you can visualize your pelvis like a bowl. Then you want to stack your rib cage and your head right on top of the pelvis. And when we organize the major landmarks that way, we should have a balance of forces helping to support our posture. If when you sit like this, you feel some initial strain either in your back or your hips, like they're the only muscle holding you up, you're probably a good candidate for a cushion or two, or even to sit up on a chair. All right, so once you find that sweet spot, feel free to hit pause if you need a little longer. Let's just tune into your breathing. So I'd like you to take your hands and place them on your ribs. Like if you can kind of catch the side or the front to the side corner. And let's take an initial few breaths just to sense where the air goes in our body. I want you to inhale through your nose and try to observe the ribs expanding underneath your hands. And that's a way to know that you're getting the air deep into your lungs. Exhale through your mouth, which will help you create a little more force to gather the ribs together to blow out the air. When you breathe in, feel the rib cage expanding three-dimensionally so those ribs come right into your hands. And then when you exhale, as the ribs gather together to blow out the air, you'll feel like your ribs are running away from the fingers. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and imagine the air going all the way down to the sit bones, all the way up to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, feel from the sit bones again, the base at the pelvic floor lifting, the deep abdominals compressing, and the ribs gathering together. Now I want you to bring your arms up so you're kind of hugging yourself. Let's spin around for this one. All right, it's like my favorite. Just when I don't know what to do, I just do this and wiggle around a little. I want you to do the classic, I'm making out with myself joke from summer camp, where you just let your body go into that little fishy tail side bend wiggle with the arms wrapped around, really reaching as far back as you comfortably can. I'm very sorry for you large-chested gals. You don't know what this feels like. This is letting you get a little stretch in between the shoulder blades while you mobilize the spine. Your trapezius muscles, which lie between your shoulder blades, are very, let's say, tall. They go all the way up to your neck and all the way down to that mid-back region. So I always find like that little wiggle while the shoulder blades are spread is a great way to get everything moving. Now, keep the arms there, and let's just take it forward into flexion and back up a few times. So you can just exhale, inhale up. And now that hug, this gets a little more like formulaic and not freeform, but it helps encourage more protraction as you flex your spine. Let's just do that one more time, curling down and then back up. Okay, I want to revisit one more classic. I'm going to have you take your arm, one hand behind your head. And, in gym class, this might have been like a tricep stretch back in the day. You're going to add just a little pressure drawing the elbow towards your head so you can initially get a stretch there. But I really want this to become an inhale to a side bend, exhale to come back up to vertical. And inhale over and then back up. So that tricep stretch you feel initially in the setup changes into more of a stretch for your shoulder once you go into the side bend. Let's just do that one more time on this side and then back up. All right, so try the other side. So I'm just going to get that little bit of pull. Might as well breathe. Once or twice just holding this. And then go ahead and add a side bend and then back up. Wouldn't it be great if I scripted these things and just said what I was supposed to say and over and then back up 2 more times and lift and last time and then back up. All right, just let a little shake out. Oh, I can turn back to you for the last one. Last seated thing. I want you to reach both of your arms out to the side, and we always call this a stop sign pose. All right, So I want you to begin. We're just going to do a little flip-flop. One hand down, one hand up, and then you're just going to switch their positions. I want you to keep long arms. You shouldn't really feel like you have to lock your elbows to achieve it because of this wrist movement. And then I want you to add tipping your head toward the hand that's going up. Okay, so this too should give you a bit of a stretch in your neck while we're also getting a stretch down the length of your arm, mostly in the wrists, but all the way up to the shoulders for some people. Let's do 4 and 3, 2, and 1. All right, down onto your back for an undulating hip roll. Oh my God, I was in such a bad mood before I started this camera rolling. I already feel better. Pilates is the best. All right, leave a little space between your knees. Set your feet about 6 to 8 inches away from your body, and let us undulate. On your exhale, you're going to curl the pelvis to start rolling your spine off the mat. We're going to go from tail to your base of your shoulder blades, and then you're going to let an arch come into your back as you go back down, which is a little bit past neutral. So I'm going to roll through flexion and then start to fall, encouraging that arch to the mid-back. Roll up and release down. You're going to do 2 more. Give a little pressure into your big toes, especially as we get towards the top and we send that weight towards the knees to come back down. Now let's reverse it, but remember how it felt. So when I arch up, I'm going to go right into that feeling of the knees going away from the shoulders. Then when I roll back down, it's the feeling of encouraging the hips towards the heels. So I'm going to arch on the way up and then roll through flexion, sinking the ribs, low back, and hips. 3 more times. Lift and then curl back down. Remember to use your arms as a little backup support, just something to press into so you can really give into that roll through the spine. 1 more time. And then roll back down again. All right, let's go into Imprint. So we're going to create a small pelvic tilt so you can feel more connected to the obliques. It'll release tension from your low back. Let's do a set of toe taps. Lift one leg up and then the other to tabletop. Now, as you exhale, begin the breath to recruit the sense of support in the abs and lower one foot to tap. Inhale to lift that leg back up. Exhale, tap the other foot, and inhale to lift. Let's keep alternating. I'm going to keep this set short, just 4 on each side. And then I want to advance this into a slightly more challenging exercise that uses the same concept though. 1 more on each side. Tap down and lift, tap down, lift and pause. All right, if you feel like you've lost that sense of your abs, just take a connective breath with another exhale, especially connecting with the ribs sinking in to connect the ribs to the hips. All right, now let's keep both legs in the air. Instead of tapping one at a time, let's reach one out straight and the other and just feel how that also affects the way you're stabilizing your pelvis. So I'm going to exhale as I reach one leg out on the diagonal. Start to switch them on your inhale, finish it on your exhale. So as the legs are moving through the air, this is like your classic bicycle action. They feel heavier in general, but you also have to time the breath so you're kicking in that exhale before the weight of that fully extended leg kicks in. I keep pointing to the ribs because this is probably the spot that's hard to keep still right now while your head's down on the mat. And if you know the abs series, right, we usually do single leg stretch with your head lifted, which changes how this will feel. All right, let's tuck your knees back in. Let's take your feet down for a break. All right, well, that's totally where I'm going with this anyway. So that'll be back in a little bit. Let's work on some flexion with your upper body. Take your hands behind your head and angle your elbows forward slightly. All right, start basic and we'll add some fun stuff to it. On your exhale, I want you to tip your chin down, curl up your head and shoulders, look towards your thighs. And then as you inhale, you're going to lower back down. Exhale, nod the chin, flex forward, creating space between the blades, and then inhale as you return. Use your gaze as a cue to make sure your neck's aligned, that you're seeing the thighs when you take your head up, and exhale, flex forward. And inhale to lower. Let's do 1 more that way. And inhale to lower. Now let's do 2 sets where you hold the crunch a little longer, just so you can tune into what happens with the breath during that. As you exhale, you're going to flex forward, and the force of your breath helps you slide your ribs down towards your hips. Now, as you hold for your inhale, I want you to encourage the breath into the sides and the back of the ribs. We're going to shoot for back here. And then as you exhale, compress your abs and imagine you're using your breath to flex up a little higher. As you breathe in, feel the ribs expanding into the back. And then as you exhale, compress the abs just a little deeper. Take one more breath in, and then exhale as you come back down. One more set like that. Inhale at the bottom, then exhale, nod your chin, flex up, look at your legs. Stay here, feel the breath travel wide across the ribs, then use your exhale to encourage just a little more lift. And again, breathe in, and then exhale to stay. One more time, big breath in, and then exhale to come all the way back down. All right, you want to put the uppers with the lowers. You've sensed how you're going to hold your endurance. Let's add the legs back into this. All right, hands can come away from your head. However, if you feel like you'd like the extra support for your neck, you can ignore what I'm going to do with my legs and grab onto your mat and use that as a support as we go into this next exercise. All right, single leg stretch like we would do in the ab series. On your exhale, curl your pelvis so your low back's a little flatter, and then lift one leg at a time into tabletop position. Now I'm going to pose my hands at my knees for now. I'm going to curl up the upper body so we're in that flex position right at the bottom tip of the shoulder blades, and then alternate reaching one leg out at a time. You're going to catch the knee that tucks in, switch and reach, inhale and exhale. So now play with your breath a little. You can feel the power of your exhale to hold you up and to keep the hips and ribs connected. So sniff, then blow, sniff, then blow. You've got 4 and 3, 2, and 1. All right, tuck your knees in. Let's place your head down, but leave your legs up. How about one more ab-focused exercise, then we'll do something that's not in flexion. If you're doing well with this, let's try increasing the load into double leg stretch where we're moving both legs in and out together. Nod the chin again, curl up your head and shoulders. All right, you're going to take one more breath in. When you exhale, send both legs out straight while you reach your arms back by your ears. Inhale, circle and tuck your knees in. Exhale, arms and legs reach away. Inhale, circle and catch. As you reach out the limbs, try to curl up just a little higher to prevent any falling down. Let's do 4. Try to squeeze your inner thighs. That always helps the abs get a little deeper contraction. And one more time, exhale, reach out, come back in, drop your head, give yourself a different kind of hug. I hug my shoulders, now I'm going to hug my knees, and just rock it out a little bit. All right, let's turn you over onto your stomach. Okay. Let's work on a little extension with your upper back. I'm going to have you start out exploring just the difference between hovering and coming into extension with your thoracic spine. So you're in a hover when you're very close to the mat, looking directly underneath you. Press into your forearms a little bit to give you support. And now as you breathe in, I want you to start to lift your gaze, let your chest fill up with the air, and push yourself away from the floor until you have 1 or 2 ribs left touching the mat. Then when you exhale, you're going to compress your abs and let that force pull you back down to that hover. So not make-believe, it's really happening, but I want you to work with the breath. So as you inhale, feel yourself float up like you're a balloon filling with air. The shoulder blades are gliding back and down to make more space for your chest to open and fill with that air. And then when you exhale, you're just that balloon deflating, which is also the force of your abs contracting to hug the ribs in and bring you down. Inhale, elongate the neck as you press away from the floor. And then exhale, pull those abs away from the mat as you drop. Let's go up one more time and pause there. All right. Now let's explore just moving our arms in rhythm with this movement. You're going to make a snow angel with your arms the whole time. On your exhale, you're going to go into hover, and we're going to start with your arms overhead. So we usually call it superhero. On your inhale, circle the arms to your hips while you lift up, and then go back to superhero when you come to hover. Inhale, lift your head and chest, arms by your sides. Exhale, back down to hover. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower. Use that bottom rib as an anchor. Try to resist coming up higher than that. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Tuck your arms back in by your sides. Okay, now let's put in a little side bend. I want you to press into your forearms, prop yourself up a little bit. I want you to hold off like an inch from that highest point, and then we're going to do our windshield wiper arms. Take one arm, reach it up and across to the opposite side, and then back to the middle. And then the other way, and back to the middle. So anytime we do this, it's optional to add your leg moving, which would be the same side leg coming across with the arm. And that gives you a more full expression of the side bend. Let's just do 4. I always wonder if you're getting sick of exercises, but I promise if I do them a lot, I think it's just because they're ultra good for you. And you is like I'm imagining the average group of clients I see every week. Come on back down. All right. We're going to use the windshield wiper to try a different motion. I'm going to have you go to your first windshield wiper side. Other arm's going to stay down. Now this time, you're going to make a shallow, I'll call it a rainbow, but it's a really shallow rainbow. We're going to go up and back to look at your hip, and up and over to your side bend pose. Your upper body is traveling, okay, but you have to use your gaze. I want to see my fingers at both end ranges, and I'm not concerned with getting higher than this, just adding a side bend to the other side. Just one more time. Reaching up and over. Does that at all feel like a rainbow to you in your body, or am I just making that up completely? I don't know. All right, so we start in the side bend one direction, and now I'm going to follow the hand with my gaze over to the hip, and then back across to the opposite side of the mat. And again, reaching down and over, and then up and across. And reach, and big stretch for the lats 2 more times, and over, last time, and up and over. All right, from here, I'm going to push myself back into the shell stretch. Get on my mat, look at my time, and round my spine. All right. Take a nice big breath in here, and you're going to hold your pose for an exhale. Take one more breath in, and then you're going to roll up into a sitting position. All right, I want to go into a little plank work next, so I'm going to have you come into a quadruped next. All right, let's get a little work in, and then I'll give you another mobility exercise for your upper back. We're going to hit this in a couple phases. First one's going to be the good old hovering knees, step back into a full plank. So just check your spacing on your mat. Make sure that when you step back, you're either all the way on or off your mat, not on the edge, because that's annoying. Okay, spread your fingertips wide, toes are curled under. You're going to shift your weight forward into your hands a little bit, pick your knees up off the mat. Make sure you're bracing away from the floor, keeping a neutral spine, shoulder blades flat against your ribs. Then you're going to step your legs back, one, and then the other, and then forward and forward. Back and back, forward and forward. You're going to do that 2 more times, and then in, last one, and in. Drop your knees back down. All right, same thing as second time, lead with your other leg. Shift into your hands, press into those fingers and toes, hover off. Now walk it again. Back, back, forward, forward. Out, out, in. 2 more. In. Last one. And in. Knees down. Now you're going to hold your plank, and we're going to explore making an extension like you just did on the mat. All right, hover up, and go ahead, step back. Now, if you're sick of planks already, you can go knees down to do this. All right, I'm going to draw my shoulder blades back and down, and I'm going to lift my chest and chin into a slight extension, and then I'm going to look down at my hands, pull the abs in to come to that plank. 5 of these total. Inhale, pull your shoulder blades back, press your chest forward. Exhale as you return. I can't talk and do this. Inhale, gaze up towards the wall. Exhale, pull those abs and look down. Now your glutes are definitely active here, but try not to shove the pelvis down as much as you're lifting from your chest and chin. When you see my pelvis fall, it's in response to the chest moving. And return. Walk your knees back in. Drop down. I don't think that was hard on my arms. It was like I really couldn't breathe and talk. Sit back in a shell. All right. Just give yourself another connection breath. Big inhale and exhale. All right, come on back up into this. All right, so that was it for the plank stuff. Don't worry. Now I'm going to have you go into a little weight shift. So I'm going to have you sit back. We're going to do a thread the needle in 3 pulses. 3, 2, 1. Transition through the center. Other side. 3 and 2 and 1 and return. 3, 2, 1 and back to middle. Let the shoulder drop. See if you can even get it to the mat. It's a great destination. One more on each side. Sit bones stay pointing up towards the ceiling. And back to center. Last time. And 2 and 3. And back to the middle. All right. I'm going to get you up into tall kneel. We're going to go into a side kick next. So this is going to be another wrist bearing exercise. I'm going to have you line up your hand even with your knee, and you're going to reach your other leg out to the side and take your hand to your forehead. Again, spread out your fingertips. The more surface area you can create, the less pressure has to go into your wrist. Now, if you can look at my knee that I'm kneeling on, I'm just going to turn it a little so my foot's slightly exposed. That's going to give you better balance as you go into this exercise. Let's take your top leg up to hip height. On your inhale, bend your knee and flex your foot. When you exhale, you're going to reach your leg out straight and point your toes. Inhale to bend in. Exhale, abs nice and connected as you reach out. So the breath, expanding three-dimensionally. I'm going to keep talking about this height. When you exhale, I want you to get a force almost like a seatbelt was closing around that area and then expand into it. 3 more times. Flexing. Try to keep the height as you reach out. And 2. Reach away. 1 more time. Hold it out long. Keep it there. All right, kicking it forward, back, stay straight. Inhale, we're going to swing your leg forward and do a double pulse at the front. Exhale, point your toes, swing your leg back. Again, inhale, reach out through the heel. And exhale, back. I love this exercise to stretch all the joints of your leg, but this is actually really good for your knee, which is funny because you're like straight the whole time. Do 2 more. I'll tell you more about that in a second. 1 more time. Kick, kick, and back. All right, let's switch side. So my brother and I were talking. He's been running a lot. And his knees are bugging him. And it's like so much compression on his legs. Plus he sits all day for work. So like he's not getting in a lot of situations anymore, just where he's working with his legs straight and lengthening out and energetically and stuff. So if that's you too, as we go into this, I want you to think of how these 2 moves play into each other. Bending and straightening your leg lets you just work through that. Like what's it like to really have a straight leg? But then when we do that forward kick, your hamstrings and your calves are both getting in a stretch that will let you get full range of motion on your knees so that when you go back to walking and running, you can actually receive the forces through your joints a little bit better. All right, let's talk about the important stuff. Spread fingers, slightly turned leg, hand at your head. I'm sorry, I got so talky. Top leg up at hip height. On your inhale, flex your foot, bend your knee in. Exhale, reach back out and point your toes. Inhale, flex and bend. Exhale away. So this moment, again, it's like you get to assess the limitation on your knees. But throughout it, we're building endurance of your outer hip muscles. And when I get stronger here in the outer hip, it actually takes pressure and friction off the side of the knee, which is usually the result of the IT band being too tense, being inflamed, or being a little bit offline because the muscles here in the outer hip aren't strong enough. Let's do 3. And 2, and that was also my brother's problem. 1 more time, back out to a straight leg. All right, on your inhale, flexed foot, kick forward in 2 pulses. Exhale, point and reach your leg back. Inhale, 2 kicks forward. Exhale, send back the leg. Really try to push that heel away from you. And exhale, back. Inhale, reach, reach. And exhale, sweep. Just 2 more times. Kick, kick, and pull. Last one, kick, kick, and pull. All right, come on back down. Let's bring those stop sign hands back to the party. Spine twist. 3 pulses each way. On your exhale, you're going to rotate for 3, 2. Sorry about the fire truck. 1. Back to center. Exhale, twist, and 2, and 3. So just like you're pushing out of your heels, reach out through the heels of your hands. Make those arms long. Back to center and rotate. 2 and 3. Back to the middle. Exhale, twist. Deeper compression. And 3. Back to center and rotate. 2 and 3. Relax the top of the shoulders. Last round. And 2 and 1. Back to center. Twist. And 2 and 3. Back to the middle. Relax your arms down. Side view. Still kneeling. Thigh stretch. Your knees to your head should stay in a straight line on this one. We're going to start with your arms out to the side, but now your palms facing forward. Pretend you're a punching bag with sand at the bottom. You get punched, you fall backwards. We're going to take your arms forward to counterbalance this so that you can have some support and momentum to come back up. I'm going to have you inhale on the hinge back. So I want to keep pulling my hip bones away from my knees and then return. Now, if you really tilt forward a lot, that's going to be hard. Pretend you're an imprint and really it's okay to squeeze your glutes and tighten your bum. That should happen naturally when you go back, but if that's not a strong muscle group on your body, it might not kick in without you really thinking about almost pushing the pelvis forward even as it goes back. 2 more times. Inhale to hinge, keep your gaze forward. So you're like, look at your thumbs. And 1 more time, leaning back, and then back up. All right, rise up to stand. Let's finish up here. All right, I want you to go into a second position. So your heel's a little bit wider than your shoulders, toes turned out, and you're gonna bend your knees. You could think of this like a plie, sumo squat, depending on what language you like better for it. And I'm gonna have you start with your arms out to the side. We're just gonna do a pivot from a plie into a lunge, and I like a rainbow, so let's do a rainbow arm as you rotate and come back to center. To the other side, twist and drop, and back to center. Rotate and middle. On the next one, we're going to stay there. Now from your lunge, extend your back leg, hinge forward and shift into a fencer's lunge, and then bend your back knee and return to the regular lunge. Shift forward, pull it back. Feel your quads contract to push you forward, hamstrings to pull you back. Reach and pull. Now go forward, stay there. And now we're going to do a power knee. Arms swing down, knee comes up and you balance. We're going to go faster than that. And back down and lift. Sorry, that was total accident. I just fell. I didn't mean it to be so slow. And 2 more times. Up and drop. Last one like this. And drop. I want you to come back to that regular lunge. Rainbow for me through the center to the other side. I lost my mic. And over, middle, and back. Next one, stay in this lunge. All right, let's do the sequence to the side. So I go from lunge to fencer, bent knee lunge, extended, and bend, and reach. 2 more. Last one here. All right, knee driver, up, back down, up, and down. 3, 2, 1. Come back to that regular lunge. To center. All right, last but not least, I want you to do a plie and just swing your arms overhead and then back down as you stand. Just do that a few times. And 1 more like that. All right, come down to the plie to stay. Now, flex forward, and we're going to do another hug, but now you're going to hug someone else. Open your arms, lift your chest and chin to see the ceiling. Exhale, curl forward and hug. Inhale, open your chest and lift. Pull your abs in round forward. Inhale, up. 3 more times, exhale, and inhale, lift. 2 to flex. Inhale, up. 1 more time, curl, and lift, and come back up. Let's be done with that. All right, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon.